On today's show, could Dante Exum be returning to the Mavericks? We'll discuss the latest on Mavericks assistant coach Sean Sweeney and an NBA Finals preview. That's all coming up right here on Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. Welcome into the show. My name is Jeffrey Cooperstein. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It's youtube.com/MavsTV, covering all of the latest Mavericks news and rumors. I know I promised you the ESPN article from Cooper Flag, but we did get some news that I thought was worthy talking about today. So we'll talk about that Cooper Flag article later in the week, and that's why you hit that sub button. It's content every day, all throughout the offseason. So let's hop right into Dante Exum, who it sounds like could be returning to the Dallas Mavericks. And I think this is good news for the Mavs. The Mavs and Exum have mutual interest in a return, according to NBA Insider Marc Stein. And if you know Marc Stein, he is the most plugged-in Mavericks insider there is. So this is a pretty credible report. And I like what Dante Exum's done with the Mavericks over his 2 seasons here in Dallas. After reviving his career over in Europe, the Mavericks ended up signing him before the 23-24 season. And he played really well for the Mavs in limited action per game in just 20 minutes. He was not, I wouldn't say a big reason, but I think he contributed to that team being a finals team. And look, everyone's concern about Dante Exum was going to be his inconsistency shooting wise. Well, Exum kind of put those fears, so to speak, to bed by shooting 49% in his first year and 43.5% in his second year. Now, he did battle injuries in both of the years with the Mavericks, mainly with his wrist, as he broke his wrist twice, needed surgery last year, which limited him to only 20 games. But he did play down the stretch of the season for the Mavs, and he was a solid contributor in the play-in game against Sacramento that the Mavericks ended up winning. He does a lot of different things, and he really has a unique skill set that not many guards in the NBA have, where he has a unique ability to guard ones and twos, and with his length and athleticism, he's able to really disrupt the timing of guards, especially coming up the court when he brings them, when he pressures them full court. And I really like how he, on offense especially, is a connector where he's not going to give you the 10 assists a game that you would expect from a pure point guard, but he gets things moving. He's a guy that you can initiate the offense with somebody else. You can make him the first or second option in a certain action, and he will keep it moving. So I really like what Exum brings to the table for this Mavericks team, and if they're able to come to an agreement on a contract, whether it be the taxpayer mid-level exception or if it's a multi-year deal with something maybe even less than that, I'd be absolutely interested in bringing Dante Exum back, and I have no problem with him being an option for the Mavericks off the bench going forward in the next couple of seasons, and hopefully they can come to a resolution here, and one of the first names off the board in free agency on June 30th would be Dante Exum. I want to ask you guys, though, for the right price, do you want the Mavs to bring Dante Exum back? If you do, type S for sign. If you don't, type P for pass, and let me know your reasoning down there in the comment section. I've always been a pretty big Dante Exum fan, and I think he would be a good addition or a good someone to keep around for a while if you are the Dallas Mavericks. We'll talk about the rest of the show here in just a moment, but I need to tell you guys about our sponsor, which is PrizePicks. Shout out to PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. PrizePicks is the best place to turn your knowledge into cash. With millions of members, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just make more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. The big question is this: do you know ball? There's only one series left in the playoffs, and the championship is officially on the line. That means time is running out for you to put your final takes to the test on PrizePicks, the best place to win cash in on your favorite sports. PrizePicks is the best place to get action on sports in more than 30 states, including California, Georgia, Florida, and, of course, Texas. And they put their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. The app is super easy to use. To create a lineup, all you have to do is pick more or less on a few player stat projections for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your money. Here is my projection for Game 1. I'm going to take the more on Dallas native Miles Turner, 5 rebounds. I'm going to take the less on Tyrese Halliburton, 17.5 points. And I'll take the more on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 10.5 free throws attempted. You can copy my picks, or you can make a lineup of your own. Just please make sure you do it with our friends over at PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get that $50 bonus when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive that bonus. It is guaranteed. Again, download the app and use code CLNS on your screen right there for a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 lineup. That link will be in the comments and the description of today's show. It is Prize Picks. Run your game. Sean Sweeney has been eliminated from the Phoenix Suns coaching search, meaning for now at least he will stay on the Dallas Mavericks staff. And while this is good news for the Mavericks, I am sad for Sean Sweeney because he's been through, I believe, at least 3 head coaching cycles now and hasn't landed a job yet. And I absolutely think he deserves it because he's one of the best assistant coaches in the NBA. But it's great from the Mavericks' perspective as Jason Kidd retains an extremely trusted assistant coach on his coaching staff that now has Sean Sweeney, Jared Dudley, Josh Broghamer, who is expected to replace Sean Sweeney on the front of the bench if he were to leave. And Frank Vogel is still on the staff as a consultant. He could be promoted to the front of the bench as well. So I think the Mavericks are in a really good spot with their coaching staff, and there is a lot of continuity here on this coaching staff, not only from a Mavericks perspective, but from a Jason Kidd perspective as well, as a lot of those guys were on his staff back when he was the head coach over in Milwaukee, and he dealt with some of those guys when he was an assistant on the Lakers too. Obviously, Frank Vogel was his head coach when Kidd was an assistant over there. Jared Dudley was over there as well. So these guys are very familiar with each other. They know how to work with each other, and that is always a good thing when you're piecing together a coaching staff. You don't want a revolving door. You want guys who know each other, who are familiar with how each other's work, who know what their duties are and know what their roles are on a coaching staff. So I think the Mavericks are going about this the right way. And yeah, I'm disappointed for Sean, but I'm happy that he's going to be back on the Mavericks staff next season by all accounts. I want you guys to grade the Mavs coaching staff for me down in the comment section. A, B, C, D, or F. I'll probably give them a B to B minus. I don't think they're the best coaching staff in the world. I certainly don't think they're the worst coaching staff in the world either. And when you talk about wanting to fire coaches, you have to be careful what you wish for because there are not a lot of great coaches out there, and even the best coaches in the world, Mike Malone, get fired on a whim. So be careful what you wish for when you're talking about firing a coaching staff. I wanted to talk about the finals a little bit before we get on out of here. I think it's going to be a fantastic series between the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Game 1 is on Thursday. By the way, I'll be live on our main Chat Sports channel alongside Nick Roloff for coverage of that. So if you want to check that out, we'll be doing a live stream for every NBA Finals game. So go ahead and check that one out. I think it's going to be a fantastic series. The Pacers have a great offense, obviously led by Tyrese Halliburton and former Mavs head coach Rick Carlisle, next to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who just hound you on the defensive end and have a great offensive system of their own as well. And you obviously have the NBA MVP in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You have who I think is the deeper team in the Oklahoma City Thunder, but the Pacers kind of ran the Knicks out of the gym for basically the entire series. The Knicks blew out the Pacers, I believe, in Game 5. But other than that, Pacers were the better team from start to finish, and they were basically the best team in the East all season. And the offense that the Pacers are running right now through Rick Carlisle is absolutely unbelievable. And I think all Mavs fans should be rooting for Rick to go get it done. Bring the Pacers their only championship, just like he brought the Mavericks their only championship. So if you're a Mavs fan, I think you should be rooting for the Pacers, but I'm not going to tell you who to root for. Given the rivalry as well between the Mavs and Thunder over the last couple of years, I think you'd pick Indiana, but let me know who you got down in the comment section. Type IND if you're rooting for the Pacers, or type OKC if you're rooting for the Thunder. We know producer Colin's rooting for his OKC Thunder, but let me know down in the comments who you guys got in the NBA Finals. And that will be it for today's show, guys. Appreciate you for tuning in to Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. We will be talking Cooper Flag later this week, I promise, as long as no real news drops between now and the next time we see you guys. So hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you soon here on the channel. Peace out.